And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. This is from the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 1, in the Webster's Bible translation. Welcome to our video on Astrology Chart Revelations for Our Lady of Fatima, fourth apparition, complete with horoscope houses, zodiac angels, and planetary aspects for August 19th, 1917. Focused upon Fatima, Portugal, for the location. This is August 19th of 1917. Yes, this was the occasion of three shepherd children's fourth apparition of Blessed Virgin Mary in Fatima, Portugal. And we are using calculations for August 19th, 1917, focused upon again, it's Fatima. We're using 12 noon Zohar, and this was, again, it was her fourth original appearance to Lucia, Jacinta, and Francisco, the three shepherd children. And this was their fourth apparition of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and the place was in Portugal, Fatima. And it occurred not on the 13th, it occurred on the 19th of 1917. Now, it occurred on the 19th of the month, and this was the only month where the three seers conversed with Our Lady of Fatima on a day other than the 13th of the month. This was due to the fact that the three shepherd children were abducted by town authorities and held for questioning. And they were also threatened. They received threats of being boiled in oil if they persisted in saying and making a statement that they could see as well as speak with the Blessed Virgin Mary, while bystanders reported changes in atmospheric conditions throughout the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima. Now, in truth, the Blessed Mother did appear on the 13th of August at the prearranged day and place in 1917, although the three children were not there due to being arrested for their abilities of being seers. We will be presenting more details about this August 19th apparition in a moment. Now please see our video entitled, quote, Astrology Chart August 19, 2018, Fatima 101 Anniversary, 4th Apparition, Horoscope and Zodiac Angels, unquote, for the 101st anniversary in 2018, the astrology chart. Now again, that's the 101st anniversary of the fourth apparition. So you can see that video. It's very important because there's some upcoming intensity on that day in the astrology on the 19th, and we had mentioned it in the future. We have we had some of our other projects done. We can get a video done regarding August 13th, 1917. Maybe do it next year when. Just find out what was going on astrologically, why the children were arrested, okay? So find that out. Now, first our disclaimer. Watching this video or reading this document is an act of spiritual willpower, and any such action is considered magic. High magic should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. If you'd like to learn how to contact me for a spiritual consultation or psychic astrology, please visit my website at www.readingsbyrosemary.com. Now, Our Lady appeared to the three shepherd children for a fourth time on August 19th, 1917, making August 19, 2018, the 101st anniversary of many miracles performed by Our Lady of Fatima. According to Catholic Catechism, the three children, Shepherdess Lucia Santos, Shepherdess Jacinta Marto, and her brother Shepherd Francisco Marto, were not present at the designated place of Cova da Iria on August 13, 1917, as Our Lady of Fatima had instructed, due to the fact that the three children had been arrested by the mayor of Villa Nova de Urim. Now, the mayor had wanted to get the three children, seers, they were seers, to reveal the three secrets of Fatima as told to them by Our Lady of Fatima. The mayor imprisoned Lucia, Jacinta, and Francisco, and also threatened them with torture of throwing them into a cauldron of boiling oil. Nevertheless, the children did not divulge the secret of Fatima to the officials. People who wanted to attend and witness the fourth apparition showed up at Cova da Iria on August 13, 1917. And although the three shepherd children had been detained and imprisoned by the mayor, he was the mayor of Villa Nova de Orium, still yet, even though he had abducted and imprisoned and threatened them with torture, Our Lady of Fatima was said to have appeared, due to the fact that spectators did report seeing phenomena on the 13th of August of 1917, known to be present when Our Lady of Fatima spoke to the three seers. Again, the three children were seers. Now, bystanders reported a small white cloud hovering above the holm oak tree for several minutes. An assortment of phenomena of coloration were seen as the faces of the witnesses, trees, the people's clothing, and the ground were cast in various tints of beautiful color. Bystanders were certain that Our Lady of Fatima had come to the Cova da Iria on the 13th of August, although the seers were not present due to their abduction, their arrest by officials who had selfish motives for arresting and imprisoning them. Lucia Santos and Francisco Marto were free from prison and visiting a property called Valinhos that belonged to one of Lucia's uncles with another one of Lucia's cousins on August 19, 1917. The familiar atmospheric phenomena that usually preceded the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima when she appeared to the children at Cova da Iria started to happen at Valinhos. Now, Lucia realized that a supernatural occurrence of Our Lady of Fatima appearing was about to occur as the atmospheric changes surrounded and covered them. Therefore, Lucia sent for Jacinta, who did arrive in time to see Our Lady appear. Just as happened before, a harbinger of Our Lady of Fatima appeared as a brilliant light appearing above a holm oak tree that was even more grandiose than the occurrence at Cova da Iria. Lucia's writings about the communication between the three seers of Our Lady of Fatima is reported to have progressed thusly. Now, Lucia Santos asked of Our Lady, quote, "What does your grace wish of me?" unquote. Our Lady of Fatima responded, quote, "I want you to continue to go to Cova da Iria on the 13th of each month and to continue to pray the rosary every day. On the last month, I will perform the miracle for all to believe," unquote. Then Our Lady's face became more serious and even upset. Our Lady continued to speak, quote, "If they had not taken you to Urim, the miracle would have been even greater," unquote. Lucia then inquired, quote, "What does your grace want done with the money that the people leave at Cova da Iria?" unquote. Our Lady answered, quote, "Have two portable stands made, you and Jacinta, with two other girls dressed in white, carry one of them, and let Francisco carry the other one with three other boys. The portable stands are for the feast of Our Lady of the Rosary. The money that is left over should be contributed to the chapel that they shall build," unquote. Lucia then pleaded, quote, "I would like to ask you for the healing of some sick persons," unquote. Our Lady replied, quote, "Yes, I will cure some during the year," unquote. Becoming sadder, she recommended anew the practice of mortification, saying lastly, quote, "Pray. Pray much and sacrifice for sinners. For many souls go to hell because there is no one to sacrifice and pray for them," unquote. Then, just as had happened before, at this juncture during the fourth apparition, Our Lady of Fatima then ascended towards the east. Now, the three children, seers, were said to have, they cut bows from the holm oak tree above which Our Lady of Fatima had appeared to them and then brought these cuttings home with them. These cut bows were reported to have given off an exceptionally sweet and exceptionally engaging, fragrant aroma. Now, again, these are the teachings of Catholic Catechism instructors. Now we're going to take a look at this astrology chart that I've prepared for you that's going to be focused on August 19th, 1917, which was the fourth apparition of Our Lady of Fatima in the country of Portugal when three shepherd children returned as Our Lady instructed them. Astrology for major aspects of the seven ancient planets on August 19th, 1917 in Fatima, Portugal, BST, fourth apparition of Our Lady of Fatima at 12 noon Zohar, are as follows. Now, I'm just using 12 noon because it's the most obvious time to use for this, to get these proper coordinates for this day. So we're going to show you the astrology chart here. Okay, now we're going to get the chart here for you that I prepared, and we're going to zoom in on it a little bit for you. Okay, we're going to adjust we're going to zoom in so you can see it here, and we're going to go over some of these, what we have here for you. This portion here, below here, this is the chart, what it looks like when all of the signs have their Rosicrucian, Kabbalah, Kabbalistic correspondence of the color. We have Aries, we have red, the natural first house, and then Pisces is crimson, the natural 12th house. And then up here we have for August 19th, 1917, for this fourth apparition of Our Lady of Fatima. So we're going to sort of zoom in on this for you and make it so you can see this portion. There you go. Okay, now on August 19th of 1917, the sun was in the sign of Leo the Lion. The sun in the sign of Leo the Lion. Lion of Judah. At 25 degrees, 52 minutes and 10th horoscope house of social standing and fame. And the planetary archangel Michael visits dwelling of Zodiac angel Virgo, because Michael is associated, or Michael, with the sun, and the Zodiac angel Virgo associated with Leo. So you see how this goes. You have the sun with the 12 zodiac signs around it, and you have the sun in the center. You have Jesus in the center with the 12 apostles around. Each of the apostles is associated with a certain sign of the zodiac. And of course, the archangel Michael is associated with Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the sun. The archangel Michael is associated with the sun. So it's a solar ray, you understand. And of course, the zodiac angel that's associated is Virgo, associated with Leo. In Hebrew, that is called the constellation of Aries, the Lion of Judah, and that's the month of Av in the Hebrew month. But the Aries, that's the constellation, Hebrew constellation. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But the sun was in Leo on that day in 1917, August 19th. And the sun was in Leo at 25 degrees, 52 minutes in 10th horoscope house of social standing and fame. Again, Archangel Michael visits dwelling of Zodiac angel Virgo. Moon in Virgo. We have the moon in the sign of Virgo, the Virgin. Again, you have the Blessed Virgin Mary. The moon is associated with the Archangel Gabriel. The moon is associated with Blessed Virgin Mary. And the moon was in Virgo. That's also associated with the Blessed Virgin Mary. The moon is associated, but so is Virgo. So, Virgo the Virgin. So you see how there's some correspondences here, because the sun rules Leo, and the sun was in Leo on that day, and the moon was in Virgo. I'm talking about the Virgin Mary, who's associated with the moon, and the Archangel Gabriel, who made the announcement to her, associated with the moon. So you see how these are, it's just different language and different cultures, but it's the same concepts, you understand. So, moon in Virgo at 14 degrees, 17 minutes in 11th horoscope house of friends and reputation. Planetary Archangel Gabriel visits habitation of Zodiac angel Hamaliel. So again, Gabriel associated with the moon, and Hamaliel is associated with Virgo, the Virgin. So the 11th horoscope house has to do with friends and reputation, and you understand that on that day, on the 19th, the children who, at least Lucia and Francisco, were visited by the Holy Mother at their cousin's place where they were visiting. So understand that their reputation was at stake. The three children, and when they were arrested on the 13th. So understand what's going on here. Now, Mercury, the planet Mercury, is associated with the Archangel Raphael and associated with the Apostle Paul and Hermes Trismegistus and Thoth of Egypt and Thoth of Atlantis and Hermes Trismegistus of Greece and of course, Mercury from Rome, you understand, and then we have St. Paul. It's the same energy. Thoth and Hermes, Trismegistus, and also St. Paul, and also Mercury, all the same energy, all associated with intelligence and writing and the scribe and all of that, okay? So Mercury in Virgo, Mercury, the planet Mercury in the sign of Virgo, the Virgin, on August 19, 1917, at 22 degrees, 54 minutes in the 11th horoscope house of Friends and Reputation, also in the 11th house. Planetary Archangel Raphael visits abode of Zodiac Angel Hamaliel. Now, the planet Venus was also in the sign of Virgo, the Virgin, on that day. 26 degrees, 18 minutes in the 11th horoscope house, again of Friends and Reputation. Planetary Archangel Anael visits dwelling of Zodiac Angel Hamaliel. Anael associated with Venus, Hamaliel associated with Virgo. So you see, we have these in Virgo, which is associated with the Virgo, the Virgin. We have the Moon, we have Venus, and we have Venus over here. We have Mercury. So we have a lot of 11th house correspondences here. 11th house is where it was. There wasn't a natural chart on that day. It was because the natural chart Virgo is associated with the 6th house, but on this day it was not a natural chart. It's the 11th house. Friends and Reputation. It was about the kids, their children, the keki's reputation. Okay? The reputation. Now Mars was in the sign of Cancer, the crab. The planet Mars, Aries to the Greeks, Mars, that is war. Yeah, that's the warfare. In Cancer, the sign of Cancer, the crab, which is associated with hearth, home, and family, at 14 degrees, 43 minutes in 9th horoscope house of life path meaning. Planetary Seraphim Samael, who's the very intense seraphim associated with the planet Mars, visits habitation of Zodiac Angel Muriel, associated with the sign of Cancer, the crab. Now Jupiter in Gemini at 8 degrees. We have Jupiter in Gemini. We have Mars in Cancer, Jupiter in Gemini. Okay, Jupiter is in Gemini at 8 degrees 44 minutes in 8th horoscope house of birth, sex, death, and debt. Planetary Archangel Sachiel visits abode of Zodiac Angel Umbriel. Okay. Now there were no retrograde planets on that day. Now in 2018, on this day, on the 101st anniversary, there are two very intense planets retrograde, and that is Mars and Saturn, and they're in the sign of Capricorn, and Saturn rules Capricorn, so intense energy in 2018. Back in 1917, which we're going over here, there were no retrograde planets, and the correspondences were much lighter because we have Jupiter in Gemini, we have Mars in a water sign, Cancer, which kind of cools it off. We have Mercury and Mercury, Venus, and the Moon in Virgo, which is, these are all kind of more lovely signs, and no retrograde aspects here, and we have Saturn and the Sun in Leo. So we have Saturn in Leo here, Saturn in Leo also alongside the Sun at 7 degrees 4 minutes in 10th horoscope house of social standing and fame. And again, the children is about their fame as well, and their social standing. And planetary Archangel Cassiel of Saturn visits the abode of Zodiac Angel Virtual of Leo the Lion. Okay, now I think it's important here as we see Saturn and the Sun. Now in palmistry, and I've studied palmistry from a wonderful book by Moshe Zhuang from Israel called Palm Therapy, that teaches you how to heal anything wrong with your palms and heal the hand. And it's very, very, very effective and very beautiful palmistry system, the most beautiful palmistry system ever. Now, if you notice that in palmistry, the middle finger and the ring finger, Saturn is the middle finger, and the Sun rules the ring finger. So when you see somebody with these two fingers together like this, Saturn and the Sun are together, moving close together. When somebody does this and pulls them apart, like on either Star Trek, or you see either on Star Trek, or you see it on you see rabbis doing that, when you see that, that's the Sun finger and the Saturn finger going apart. So it has to do with the relationship between the Sun and Saturn. Relationship between the Sun and Satan. So understand that. There's a reason for these things. These things don't just come out of nowhere. These things have deep significance. Okay? We'll do another video on that specifically. We wanted to give you a little heads up on that right now. Now, significant aspects of 7 ancient planets on August 19th, 1917 are as follows. The Sun has no major aspects in the 7 ancient planets on this day. Nevertheless, there are some smaller aspects involving outer planets. And there are some other people that I think are doing these Fatima events, and including some of the minor planets and some of the minor aspects. And the minor planets or the outer planets are very, very important. We just, for sanity and time's sake, we had to condense it. And plus, I'm a Rosicrucian Kabbalist and did a lot of Kabbalistic magic and Rosicrucian magic, so therefore we use a lot of the 7 ancient planets more, intensely, so I'm focused on those. But these other planets are important. These other aspects are important. There are other people out there doing some of the other aspects. You should watch those videos. Very important aspects. Now, the moon was conjunct Mercury. The moon was conjunct Mercury on August 19, 1917. The moon sextile Mars. The moon sextile Mars, here, that green line. And the moon square Jupiter. So you have the moon here, square Jupiter. So you have that red line. That is squaring Jupiter. Now we're going to have this chart on our, there's a link to it on our website. We're going to have them up on Readings by Rosemary on Facebook and on the Astrology Angel on Google. Okay? Okay, now, so Mercury conjunct Moon. So, excuse me, yeah, Mercury, was conjunct Moon on that day. And also Mercury was conjunct Venus here also on that day. And Venus conjunct Mercury, obviously, because Venus conjunct Mercury, Mercury conjunct Venus. Mars sextile the moon. Mars in Cancer sextile the moon in Virgo. So you see how that works. Now, we have Jupiter square moon. We have Jupiter with square, Jupiter in Gemini square on this red line, the moon in Virgo, the Virgin, and Jupiter sextile Saturn. We had Jupiter green line sextile Saturn in Leo. Okay, so again, Jupiter in Gemini sextile that green line, Saturn in Leo. Okay, and we have Saturn sextile Jupiter, Saturn in Leo, that green line sextile Jupiter in Gemini, okay, in Gemini. So, and the sextile is the green, and the square is the red line. So these are important aspects for August 19th, 1917. Okay, and again, no retrograde planets at that time. Not the ones we're looking at. The 7 ancient planets I'm talking about. Now, the Hebrew calendar associations and zodiac, in Hebrew, the word for zodiac is Mazaroth. The placements for the planets. Now, this might make some sense to you, because as we go over the August 19th, 1917, that occurred in Hebrew date on the 1st of Elul in the Hebrew year of 5677. Okay, so this the original 1917, 5677. And now, and August 19th was the 1st of Elul. Now, we're going to give you like the sun, Hama, called Hama. It's also called Shemesh. And I used to use that word when I used to do Rosicrucian magic and Kabbalistic magic. But I still do it now, but I use some different associations now, and I use the word Hama. But anyway, because it has a different meaning. But you'll notice the sun, Hama, in Leo, Aries, that they're formulas. These are Kabbalistic formula. Okay? And the only difference between someone who is a devout religious person like myself, and also an astrologer, and a person who's not a devout religious person and astrologer, I could only imagine that the difference would be that, to me, the astrology chart is something that God has given to us. It's a clock, God's great clock. Just like we use we use everything that God gives us. We use computers, we use cameras, we use, lights, action camera, we use cars, we use all kinds of things. We use airplanes and motorboats and skis and everything else. We use all kinds of technology. This is just the way the planets and the sun and all of it's all just a great clock. A clock which God created. And we're instructed by Christ to watch the signs. And so we do. Because He gave us very clear indications in the Bible of what these things refer to. And if you study the Hebrew, you have even more of an understanding of what these things refer to, obviously. And obviously the Aramaic and the Greek. So maybe someone who doesn't have a religious understanding might, just say that the universe is in control. And if everybody starts saying what they really think, at the end of the day, they might just say that we all actually have the same belief, because they might say the universe is God or life force is God, because God is not a person. Obviously, God is a force, and even for atheists to be included. This is why. Kabbalah is very specific. The highest form of creator does not exist, and that is because existence comes from, this kind of existence we understand comes from receiving, the will to receive. The Creator does not receive, just bestows. So if you're only bestowal in this realm, you do not exist. Existence comes from receiving. So, and Kabbalists mention, many great Kabbalists like Dr. Michael Lightman and mention that, and Billy Phillips, they mention that in this world, you have only the will to receive, and the Creator is only the will to bestow, and therefore God can be said to not exist, because God is one who even gave us a sensation of existence or non-existence. So the atheists are even right, because if you start naming God and giving Him names, He does exist, and He becomes a different entity. And that, to be honest with you, when you name God, that's why Hebrews say Hashem, the name, so they're not naming Him, so they're not lowering God. As you name God, you lower God. So the highest form of creator would have no name, or Hashem, the name, and the highest form of God would not exist in existence as we know it. Because the will to, again, what I wanted to say that the Kabbalists say, like you want to study Dr. Michael Lightman or Billy Phillips, what you want to, what you want to understand is that the reason when a person dies, that you think, or where you came from before you were born, that there's nothingness, and why everybody fears it, is because it's the opposite of everything here, is what I want to say. It's the opposite of everything here is what they teach. So if it's the opposite of everything here, then you wouldn't be able to perceive it here, unless of course you develop another sense, a sixth sense, that is the sense that is the soul. Because when you come in, you have an undeveloped soul, or the lower levels of soul. In Hebrew there's different levels of soul, and they have different names. So you develop your soul as you go through your life, and as you go through different lifetimes. Some people have one life, some people have more, but it doesn't matter. You develop your soul, and when you develop it enough, then you can receive the light from Hashem into this immortal vessel, and it will be completely opposite of everything in the physical world. So everything that bothers you about the physical world, it's the opposite. So it doesn't end, and it's instead of suffering, there's great, wondrous, it's a wonderful thing, not a bad thing, and it's filled with light instead of darkness, and happiness instead of sadness. So an immortality instead of death. So understand that. So again, you want to study, go to Kabbalah Info, Dr. Michael Lightman, and go to Kabbalah Center, Billy Phillips channel on YouTube, and you can find these teachings. Now, again, the sun is called Hama in Hebrew, Ari for the sign of Leo, moon Levana, in Hebrew and in the sign of Virgo is Betula. Mercury is called Kokab or Kokab. It's with a V or a B, and that is because the B and the V are interchangeable in Hebrew. So Mercury is Kokab, and it's in Virgo Betula, and planet Venus or Noga in Virgo Betula, Mars Ma'adim in the sign of Cancer, Sartan, now and Jupiter Zedek in Hebrew, in Gemini Teomim, and Saturn Shabbatai in Leo Ari. Okay, so these are the constellations. That's not, again, for example, Ari associated with Leo, the Ari, the line of Judah. This is associated with the month, Hebrew month of Av. This is Ari is the constellation, the Hebrew constellation. Teomim for Gemini, it's a constellation. Betula, that is for Virgo, it's the constellation. So understand that there is a difference. Sartan for the sign of Cancer. Understand that they're different. Again, they're different than the months. Okay. All right, great. So this was for, again, August 19th, 1917. Now, information found in this document is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I've committed to memory. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again.